Okay, Ukrainian girls, topic of today's discussion.
And what a lovely, lovely discussion it is talking about the ladies. Oh man.
And it happened to both of us that both of us were in a LTR, so long-term relationship with Ukrainian girls. I was even married previously to Ukrainian girl, and you are in a long-term relationship since like 3 years. Yeah, am I right?
Yeah, just about met a very lovely lady from Dnipro, and yeah, we've been in a relationship for about 3 years, and it's been quite a learning experience in a very good way, because this is my first relationship with truly a traditional woman. Every woman that I've been with prior has been honestly some kind of leftist, liberal. I mean, I had like some centrist, but mostly pretty left wing. So it's been very nice to have this experience. Very refreshing.
So prior to your recent relationship, from which countries you were meeting girls mostly?
I mean, mostly Polish, but also Ukrainian. I did have some relation with a an Italian Argentinian, if that's right, and well, briefly a German.
So mostly like Western culture, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. But yeah, I mean, this has been in many ways, the most fulfilling um, and mature. I mean, like the communication, the um, directness, the um, nothing is taboo, that you can be completely open with each other, which is something that I've always yearned for as someone who's right wing. I mean, uh, I know guys like yourself, friends of mine, have been much more lucky in finding more right wing leaning women who are more open to these opinions in Poland. But for me, it's been just mostly the environment, because I started out in university here, and a lot of the women in Polish universities, it's very easy to find a lot of left wing women. More difficult to find right wing women in the universities for whatever reason.
And how did you meet for the first time your recent girlfriend?
Well, actually, we started on a language exchange program, and I was, of course, looking to learn Ukrainian at the time, to have the experience to be able to communicate, because that's the best way, of course, to establish any kind of relationship with someone, is to learn their language. They love it. But yeah, things just kind of moved very fast after 3 months of communicating, and of course the situation with the war and how desperate the situation was becoming in Dnipro. I stepped up to say, why not get out of harm's way? Why not come to Poland, stay with me, and we can give a relationship a shot. And she was brave enough to do it, and we've been together ever since.
In the time of Tinder, where Tinder is strongly criticized from by many users and is losing users, it's a romantic story that you have learned somebody by practicing languages, not a typical way. Wow. So, guys, if you are watching us, if you are remaining single and you would like to meet some feminine, beautiful women, please try maybe with some application to learn languages. I don't know. What's your take on it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always the setting that with dating apps, with meeting women in bars or clubs. It's always in bars and clubs, and especially dating apps. It's actually the highest difficulty. I mean, like, obviously, when you communicate with someone on a dating application, you only have one chance. That first impression. I mean, it's always first impressions, but they don't even answer. You have no idea, because you have the barrier that it's you're doing it through your phone, so you have no idea what their reaction is. And also through these kind of applications, you have the different qualities of both men and women, right? You have a lot of men on there who are deviants, who are degenerates, who will message all these women in many different ways that are not respectful, putting them off. So they really have the lowest expectations for when you are speaking to them. So a lot of times, yeah, if you can say the right thing in these kind of dating apps, it's a leg up. But and also the same in bars, clubs. You know, they have often they're out with their girls. You know, they want to have fun. It's kind of it's more difficult to break into that circle. But you know, you have to see the different avenues. You have to see the different places where it's just like they're not expecting to have a man approach them, and it's just like you know, through I'm not saying like this was the plan, but just like this is the opportunity for Sparks to really feel genuine and to fly when she doesn't have on, you know, so much makeup. She's not in her super sexy outfit, so she's not expecting this kind of attention. And the same thing with like a language app. It's like, oh, it's just a language app, but it's just like, oh, hey, you know, you're really beautiful. I love your personality. Everything's coming across, and then of course, you know, you are communicating, you're learning about each other, you're communicating over a period of time. Like I said, we were communicating for 3 months. I mean, and in that time Sparks really flew. So yeah, it's just this kind of opportunity that can really work out for a lot of young men.
Mm, so, what were the pros and cons comparing to Western women? Okay, I can tell about one disadvantage
Lead the way.
that many Polish or Western guys come across with Ukrainian by the Ukrainian women. So Ukrainian women will always expect you to pay and to provide. And here in Poland, for example, it's more common to share the cost 50-50, half half. But in Ukraine, do not even offer that because you are going to be ignored completely, and you will never see this girl again. I even saw a friend of mine. She's Ukrainian. She lives in Switzerland, so the richest country in the world. She met a Swiss guy, but on Tinder. They went out for a date to a very expensive restaurant, and she was invited by him. The bill afterwards was like, I don't know, 200 euros, and he offered her to split the bill into half at least, even though he has consumed more. And after the day, he offered her, okay, so let's go to my place. So I think with the Ukrainian girl, with beautiful, knowing her value, Ukrainian girl, it would not work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the advantages, disadvantages. Well, taking from what you just said about splitting the bill and things like that, it's very interesting coming from the American standpoint. You have this kind of feminism where they want men to still take care of them. They want men to pay for everything. They just want men to have to pay for everything. They have to be their slaves, basically, and do whatever they want. So it's just like, okay, you're gonna pay in this feminist role. It's like the man is still going to pay for the dinner, but you know you're not gonna get really anything out of it. It's like, okay, we might meet a few more times, but it's just like it's not gonna follow the traditional way. And especially for me, when I was in the United States, I was raised on very traditional values. It's just like maybe kiss on the third date, and I was way behind the times, especially in the modern day. I mean, it's already the modern era of. I mean, this is like, I don't know, 1950s to maybe 1970s kind of thinking. I mean, that's how I was raised, but especially by very feminist women who were in my proximity as far as family goes. Um, that yeah, waiting for this third date to even kiss is like, no, that's not what women do these days. You should be upfront. You should be trying to kiss on a first date and this sort of thing, which was completely uh, unknown to me at the time. But then you have Polish women who want to pay for the meal or pay at least half. I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I think that's great. Okay, you want to pay for things. The man doesn't need to pay for everything if it's not being appreciated, and that's certainly one thing that Ukrainian women do appreciate is you pay for the meals, you pay for going out, you pay for doing things like that, and they reciprocate. The most important thing is that they reciprocate. But you get a lot of these types. You have a very stereotypical this type of um, in interesting woman. I will put it kindly, where they have the balloon lips, balloon boobs, and everything else, whatever, which looks very. I don't know how any man is attracted to this, to be honest. I mean, because the aesthetic is so imbalanced. With, like I said, literally like balloon lips. People have already made fun of this enough. Like hot dogs on the face, and just I mean.
But it happens everywhere. Okay, in Ukraine, it
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
also very often. There is like high maintenance women that you must pay for everything and give her money for these lips, and she expects you to provide all the time and buy her stuff.
Yeah.
So there are also many materialistic women in Ukraine, and I think you can find them even. It's more even common in Ukraine than in Western world, I would say.
Well, and their entire mindset is that their gift to you is just their body.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is period. That's all they have. At least you can spot them a mile away usually. And in Poland, there's also this other kind of special, similar kind that also goes for this, but is more right wing. You see them with kind of Legia or drug dealers where they dye their hair jet black. They do the same thing. They get lip injections. Maybe they get fake boobs or something, but they all look the same. It's really a funny caricature and stereotype they're making out of themselves. But anyway, I mean that's just part of this. Maybe Warsaw. No,
But
it's
so
Polish.
summing up, in Ukraine, you've got to invest some, but at least very often you will get the return of this interest of this. Let me say investment. What
Yeah,
do you think
absolutely.
about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
And-
the traditional, like we're talking about, the opposite, the positive is the traditional woman who wants to be there to take care of you, who wants to give you a massage, who wants to tell you, or who wants to support you.
At least, emotionally.
Fully emotionally committed to anything that's going on in your life, and is willing to listen and to willing not just to be like, oh, sorry, you have emotions. It's like some women, it's just like, oh, a man that has emotions, no thank you. But yeah, they're there for you. They want to support your projects. They're genuinely interested in what you are about, which, I mean, to their credit, the left wing women that I was dating here in Poland, the Polish left wing women, were genuinely interested, and they were mostly because they were just trying to understand, oh, how could I be so into this right wing guy? We have just polar opposite beliefs, and
It's my way or
it's
the
nature.
highway.
but I mean, yeah, indeed, it's my way or the highway at that point. But it's just like, it's nature, lady. You're feeling that attraction for a strong right wing man of that right wing character.
They are not really interested in a soy boys who are left wing, drama queen in the male body.
Or if they are, it's to take full advantage of them. I mean, I used to have a friend that I knew. I mean, she was in the relationship with a literal cuck. I mean, she would just go out every night, find some dude to bang, and just like was even trying to hook up with me. And I knew her through couch surfing, and it was just like, I have no idea how many dicks you've been with, the way that you talk with you. And I mean, I was a bit of a different mindset at the time. I was just like, oh, fine, I'll hang out with this person. But I mean, now it's just like, filthy, this guy. I mean, it's just like 1,000 dick stare, if I ever saw her again. I mean, it's just like how to look into those eyes.
Okay, and my question is, if she's a traditional woman, I have also experienced that. Did you have a lot of pressure into marriage?
Yeah, I mean, on both sides. I mean, my family on my father's side is more right wing, and on my mother's side, still very traditional, despite the despite their left-wing tendencies and things like that, come from a very traditional background.
After meeting her for the first time, how long did it take for her to ask you about your like proposal or marriage plans in the future?
Oh, you're talking about just between us?
Yeah.
Um, Probably within the first year we start. I mean, it was just like letting her come to those terms and then talking it out together, and just like it wasn't like, okay, we need to make babies now, we need to get married now, it's about starting a family, because money, it's just like or because there are some women who are like that, this kind of gold digger. I'm going to,
Yeah, I'm asking because
or to get the passport.
Ukrainian women are famous for it, that they really press their men into marriage.
Right, because I mean, I don't know how it is with Polish men or something, how that relationship goes, if they're pressing
Okay,
so hard.
I can tell you that the mindset and the definition of the marriage in Poland and in Ukraine is completely different. In Poland, women are more cautious about marriage, so they are not pushing anymore into this, because in Polish mentality, marriage means more having children, having common values, going through life together, pledge their whole life together. And in Ukraine, what I have observed in most of the cases, many of the cases, is that marriage is the possibility to increase the status of the given woman, because usually she will marry eventually onwards, not downwards. And the highest rate from the downsides of Ukraine, the highest rates of divorces are actually in Ukraine. And I was really interested because I also got divorced to Ukrainian women. And I was asking multiple Ukrainian women, why is it happening that you have so many divorces here? And they are always saying the same, very often we get married in order to impress our colleagues, our peers, and also to show our status. And if the guy is really loaded, or at least higher status, it's also possibility to show off, to have better life. But in none of the cases they have spoken about families. But maybe those were examples that I have met that were not in the majority. But having a look at the statistics of the divorces in Ukraine, there must be something in it. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head very well there. That about the status, about things like that, about showing your peers that what you're capable of, especially with the advent of social media. Women love to show how their life is going, and of course with that traditional sense still lingering of, we want to have a family, we want to be able to show off the kind of family that you have and the kind of family life that you're living. That a lot of women are still marrying outside of love. It's not just love. It's like you said, it's for status. It's for social praises. And so that would explain a lot, especially because there's pressure early on when you're young, and it's not a bad thing. But the way that I think social media has inserted itself into the current and previous
Constant comparison,
generation. Yeah, there's constant comparison. There's the what we call competing with earthquake, competing with the Joneses, and that's competing with your neighbors, and this whole mentality like that, which is unfortunate with social media. People find themselves in constant competition with people they don't even know very well, and or with celebrities. All these different comparisons that people feel compelled to be a part of, and then they get in this relationship that they weren't really either prepared for mentally, or they just didn't know the person as well as they thought they did, or didn't even bother to get to know each other. And so that's why it would end on such terms of divorce.
But in comparison to Western women, did you observe that Ukrainian women take care more of their bodies? What I have observed, for example, that they are aware of the fact that their beauty is their biggest value. that they are going to get better men, higher value men by taking care of her body. That it's the biggest currency of them. And very often, even with my ex-Ukrainian wife or other girlfriends, when I told them, listen, you need to lose, I don't know, 3 kilograms, or you need to go to the gym, you need to eat better, avoid alcohol, they were understanding this. My experience with Western women, where if I told them so, they were like, why are you criticizing me? No, my body, my choice, and other bullshit. So what I have liked about Ukrainian women, okay, maybe it might be more shallow, but on the other hand, they understand how how this market is working. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, man, to talk about American compared to Eastern European women, I mean, it's something else. I mean, even Polish women, and I say even, sorry to preface it with that, but because, you know, a lot of Western influence here in Poland, unlike so much of Ukraine. But, you know, American women would tell you, and I've heard it, that like the kind of bodies that you see on Eastern European women, they'd say it's impossible. You know, they say in America, they say it's impossible to look like that. You can't have such an hourglass figure. It's impossible. Like the ones you see here. And I mean, when I first arrived here from the when I actually moved here from the United States, and I got to really experience how beautiful the women here in Poland are. My heart was just on fire. I was blown away, so blown away. I had to write a song about it, which hopefully one day it will be produced, about just, you know, how every street you walk down, there's a beautiful woman coming the other way, walking the other way, and you know, it's the same thing. You know, you talk about how Ukrainian women understand it as a currency, and I don't think this is a good thing. I think what is a good thing is just that people should have the desire for achieving greatness, right? I mean, especially on the right wing, masculine side, is to look at heroes, to look at people, more recent kind of pop figures like Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the kind of physical achievement that they've made, and to be like, you know,
Yeah, but it's a role model from the 80s or 90s.
right. I mean, these are, but they're still relevant in pop culture, is all I'm saying. I'm just using those as examples. But looking at historical figures, looking at someone like Plato, for example, who got his name. Plato is not his name. I forgot what his real name is. Plato is just a nickname because he was known as Plato for the plates of his chest. This guy was so he was, you know, he was the what we have described now as there's a great book on it. I recommend anyone to read this, is to be a cultured thug, if that's the title of the book. I can't recall, and this was introduced through one of the right-wing philosophers, who wrote Ride the Tiger. Do you remember his name?
Yeah, let's
Okay, so anyway, but Plato was the epitome of a cultured thug. I mean, the guy was built and, you know, highly intelligent and well-versed in philosophy, and just the kind of person any man should idealize to become like. And for women, it's just like the goddesses or the kind of mythical figures, which, like Helen of Troy, we found was a very real woman, and remarked upon throughout history. How do we even know this woman? Because of how remarkable her beauty was. And it's not shallow in this sense. It's just like how Christians would talk about being close to godliness. And we all have the scale of 1 out of 10. 10, to me, to be a perfect 10 is to be like the closest to godliness. The closest to godliness is to be a perfect 10, which there are some women. I mean, why wouldn't we have men and women looking like the gods? I mean, just like what they sculpted in Greece, in Rome, and all these other cultures. why wouldn't you aspire to look like that, to achieve a godlike status and appearance at least?
But in this term, what difference that I have seen in the mentality is that for the Western women, they think that the role model for them, that their value is based on their career achievements. And
Right.
Ukrainian women have understood that, okay, their biggest currency is actually not diplomas or higher academical education, but actually the beauty, inner beauty, emotional beauty, but mostly physical beauty. So I know I
Well,
have
let's get back to that. Let's
yeah.
go back to that. I mean, like, I mean, just to bring it back home. I mean, like my relationship with my girlfriend. She is, um, often the left wing will attack these women who are so beautiful to claim that they are unintelligent, to claim that they have no education, so they know nothing other than to be beautiful, and that couldn't be further from the truth. That I mean, especially with today's modern education systems, are far less. Are producing far less sophisticated people, far less intelligent people. I mean, they are the hammer to the nail of true creative intelligence. And with someone like my girlfriend, she actually has a higher education than I do, and she has an incredible intelligence for someone who the left would accuse of just being like, oh, well, to have that kind of far right opinions must not be educated at all. And I mean, that's just taking it from a personal case. It's quite obvious when you look at some of the figureheads in the right wing movement who are of the female persuasion. Um, these are very highly intelligent, gifted women. We appreciate all of them, and I'm sure it's the same for you when you meet some of these beautiful women. They're highly educated. I mean, they're highly intelligent without having to be highly educated. I mean,
Very often they're also highly educated. It doesn't. It can
but
go
the
together.
priorities remain the same. They're not out there to get a career. They're out there to. They're like, okay, this is what I want. I was just kind of curious how this was, how this works, and
I spoke with one girl here. I was studying with in the university in Kozminsk, in our common, and she told me. I asked her, "Why are you studying? You are from Ukraine. Maybe you don't need. Your father is running some businesses." She said, "I am here. I'm studying in order to meet an educated guy on some certain level because I don't want to be with the homeless guy, some stupid bad boy or whichever who knocks her up and leaves her afterwards." Yeah, so maybe.
Very good point. Yeah, I mean, there's many facets to life, and of course, yeah, women going to the university just like going to the city to meet your future partner.
And
Yeah.
what about the general beauty of the Ukrainian women? I can tell you my example. As I was 2 years ago in Lviv, I have never seen in my life such big quantity of beautiful women in one place. Every square meter were like 2 3 hot models that you would never see anywhere in the Western world, and not so many of them were wearing makeup. They were naturally beautiful. They were all slim. They were no fat chicks like in the Western world, and they were very approachable. What I have observed, okay, there were not so many men, almost no men on the streets, so it was very maybe not. I would say even easy to approach them, to talk to them. They were respecting the fact that you approach them, and they were curious about you. So this is the part that I have enjoyed. And guys, during war, I really recommend you, if you are still single, go to Lviv, go to Kiev, talk to women very often. Some of them speak English, or at least they would like to practice. So my question is, where have you seen the biggest amount of beautiful women on the square meter in your life?
Oh my God! I mean, this is where I differ with Polish men, but maybe it's just a
Poland.
kind of fetishizing Ukrainian women or something for
Yeah.
Poles or Belarusian women. I mean, I would say, I've seen very beautiful Belarusian, Ukrainian women, but per capita, I think, I mean, just maybe because I haven't been there long enough when I was visiting, but per capita, I would say Poland, Polish women, I would say like model quality. 30% of the population of the female ages, I don't know, 18 to 40 or something like this. 30% easy model quality, and it's not to say that the ones below model quality. I mean, I'm saying like model, maybe supermodel. Of course, I don't know how to gauge supermodel. It's just like. That's really I guess up to the people in the business, but yeah, I mean it's just astounding to be here, and I was really curious. I was hoping, as I was supposed to go back to the United States just to have another look, and it's not to say that there aren't beautiful American women. There's so many beautiful women, American women, but they're sparse. They're spread out. It's not like you can walk down any street and find a beautiful woman walking in the opposite direction, or walking with you for that matter. But yeah, I feel very blessed to be here for that fact.
Yeah, guys. So if you want to have success with Ukrainian women, you've got to provide her place to live in, pay for her stuff. Maybe not, I'm not saying in expensive bags, but at least I don't know, for some dinner, make shopping. But do not expect that she will split every cost half. It will not work. One thing, one of my observation. Like 1 year ago, we were in some bar. There was a friend of yours, female friend of yours. She was like 34 maybe, uh, and she told me that she was Polish. She told me that she has some stomach problems because of stress at her work.
Hmm.
We were singing karaoke at this time, and I has asked her, why has it happened? Why do you have these stomach problems? I said, because I wanted to achieve a lot at my job, so I was working like 12, 14 hours a day, and because I really wanted to achieve this position. And ask her, what is your position then in your company, in the company you work for? Senior assistant, some bullshit, really. So she gave her life, her 34 years of living, her health, to work for some other man where she's not even managing anyone. She's just, you remember her? Not really.
No, no.
You even told me that you were about to date her, or you were interested in her, but from time perspective,
That was during my comic stand-up.
might be, no, not really. I think during, but my conclusion here was that, okay, she's 34. She has some stomach problems. She's probably, because of the stress, infertile. And I asked her, listen, you don't want to have family or have a boyfriend? Come on, what's the point of your life? She said, I'm not thinking about this yet, but fuck, you were coming to 35. I'm pretty sure that after 1 year, she's still single. She still has health problems. She still has a lot of anxiety or stress at work, and she achieve some BS position at her company. So in terms of Ukrainian women, were like that, their head is more put onto the ground. They know that family is important. At least having children, having this home.
Well, I mean, she's just a perfect example of why birth rates are failing here in Poland, because the mentality that's just been switched in women's brain in Poland is just, as we discussed earlier, it's all about career, baby. It's about, how can I? That's what you have to show off with your friends here in Poland is, look at me. Look at me and my position in this company that I've been a slave to. And that's what they equate, that's what feminism has really driven. That's what a lot of propaganda has driven, is that if you are a mother, if you are a loving wife, you are a slave. And that's been really
It's the way around, actually.
yeah, exactly. You want to be this corpo servant to one day be recognized for your contribution of, I don't know, getting up the quarter, whatever the lingo is, raising the quarterly finance of this company so you can have a pizza party at the end of the year. Hey, it's Christmas coming up. I hope you're looking forward to that little Christmas bonus that you've been slaving away for, or pizza party. Yeah, good stuff. Much better than having a family that loves you for the rest of your life, who will be with you, who will appreciate all the things you do, uh, over Mr. Corpo Man, and it's still the man. The majority of CEOs are still men, so I'm sorry.
So basically,
when,
you still serve the
you're
man.
still serving a man. Yeah. So
But do you think that in the future will the mentality of the Ukrainian women change into Western one? I can tell you my observation of Russia, for example, is that women in Russia remain feminine. They remain very often traditional because there is like positive conservative propaganda in Russian medias. Even birth rate in Russia are not this low that they are in Ukraine or in Poland. So my question is, do you think that the mentality of Ukrainian women will go west or east?
um, it's not just hard to say. I would say that actually the prospects are quite bleak. Just judging on the whole situation of Ukraine. I mean, this is a true genocide. No doubt about it. No argument about it. I mean, these people are being destroyed. And the plans for the future of Ukraine, as said by people in the Ukrainian government, people financing the future of Ukraine, people planning to rebuild Ukraine. It's going to be a very diverse, multicultural rainbow nation, which has been done before. I mean, this kind of level of attitude of the government and destruction of the values of the Ukrainian people have been what this war is truly about, because it's not just the Ukrainian people, it's the white people. This is a war not just against Ukrainians, but whites in general. This is, Ukraine being one of the largest, not only
white populations in Europe. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so not only in territory, but in terms of white population that had very traditional roots. This has been a war against that. I mean, just like however he meant it, Putin said this was a war to remove the Nazis in Ukraine, which was really about just removing and effectively eliminating the right-wing men who have traditional values, as well as the women and I guess potential future children. So when asked about what will the values of Ukrainian women be, it is a hard question, but it's a very bleak likely answer, because just like in Russia, they do have this traditional kind of propaganda of breeding, but it doesn't really matter who you breed with there in Russia these days. And of course, they've had that instilled for many decades. Just in the advent of war, it's only been for the purposes of war. It hasn't been for the flourishing of the Russian kind. No, it's just been for the purpose of maintaining the war machine so we can have enough men maintaining it. And that will go on into the future, most likely for Russia, to continue their fertility. Whereas it's been the opposite for Europe, because we want a weak Europe who can't have a stable military presence anywhere. And yeah, so I'm sorry to kind of drag on with that question and made it more a bit more broad than probably you were hoping for. But for Ukrainians who've come to this realization that the world is going to be very different after this war ends, or maybe they've already realized the change, maybe they will grasp on more to their values. And overall, we're seeing, perhaps thanks to the Trump election, we're seeing a backpedaling. Transgenderism is statistically becoming more unpopular in high school students and school students overall. It was a fad, just like it was shown. Just sprung out of nowhere. All these transgender, all these LGBT people. It's backpedaling. It's going back. It's declining. Fewer and fewer people are interested in this kind of thing. So maybe we will have more traditional values, more people going back to traditional values in the future.
Okay, good. Do we have anything more about Ukrainian women to add up or to sum up? We would like to.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're the most beautiful. Not just Ukrainian women, but just you're beautiful, and it's so incredible to be alive in this time. Oh, actually, one more thing. An interesting theory to go into is about civilization. Despite everything that's happening, we have a very relatively stable kind of global civilization, especially when it comes to here in Europe. The quality of life, that we can potentially live is far better than many kings, royalty experienced in the past, nobility experienced in the past. And, just like when you look at old photos of our grandparents, great grandparents from the periods of World War II, World War I, the world was very unstable. Civilization was in many ways crumbling, literally crumbling. And wow, it really showed in the kind of beauty that was existing at the time. When you look at photos of those women, and it's just like, wow, or it's your own great grandparents. You're just like, how did we go from and you look at photos of women in their 20s at that time, and really it was rare that you're going to see a beauty that looks anything like we have today. And I would say that there's this because civilization allows basically for hormonal change, for women to be more beautiful than they ever were when a civilization is crumbling. Like in Rome or Greece, to have the inspiration for these kind of statues and these kind of artistic depictions of the women at that time, very, very beautiful, because the civilization was relatively stable at that time. And I would say that's what we're experiencing right now. We have this unfortunate dichotomy where we're at the peak where we should be breeding, because it's just the whole point.
Everything is provided, yeah?
Yeah, everything is provided, and that's why they have this hormonal change to be so beautiful that it's affecting their physiognomy, because we should be breeding. We have this relatively stable civilization, but we're not. It's just going to waste. We have these very, everyone is looking very, men also looking very handsome, maybe more handsome. It's kind of hard to say. We have this, age like wine. Well, no, we have like this kind of age like wine type of thing where it's like, in general, we've kind of maintained, but I don't know. But it's a lot easier to see with women in the different ages. To monitor some things like that, and certainly people in like.
But from my perspective, I can tell you, when I was in Lviv in summer, I saw so many naturally beautiful women.
Yeah.
Like I was seeing a picture of my grandmother, or times before the Second World War. So these natural faces, no makeup, even some cheap, modest clothes, and they were able to maintain their beauty, even though. They were not provided of financial resources to
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So in these terms, yeah, guys, go to Ukraine, especially now when it's empty of foreigners, empty of competition, and try to talk, try to flirt, whatever, invite.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, man. If you're listening, get out there and maybe even read some books, of course, before you get in the game. Of course, for me myself, I went through a lot of changes. I had some knowledge gaps that I had to fill before really understanding. So yeah, but otherwise, just shoot your shot, give it a chance.
Spread your seed.
It wasn't what I was meaning, but yeah, give it a chance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But also, get a family going. Why not?
Okay, see you next
See you next time.
episode.